Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
All right, Mad Mob, another episode for the week. We are going... Begley, do you mind? I'm trying to do an intro here.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't let it happen again. We are here, another episode to cover the 4 o'clock games, the Sunday night football game, and the Monday night football game. We are also going to cover our CTFL, crappy team football league, fantasy league that we have going. Who won that this week? Who scored the most points? We are going to go over the DFS finish from last week and our new DFS lineup. So it is a full episode. So we are going to jump right in to the first 4 o'clock game, which is the Falcons at the Rams. A big old line. Rams minus 10.5. The over-under is set at 46.5.
I feel like this is a trap line. I think people are going to hammer Atlanta here because of how they looked last week. Give me the Rams, 100%. This is so trappy. Give me the Rams and give me, what was the over, under?
46.5.
Yep.
Give me the over on this one. I don't really know, but I'm taking the Rams. I loved Darrell Henderson this week. I think you saw what Cam Akers is. He may get a few more carries because their third string back, Kyron Williams, went out last week. Darrell Henderson's in my flex. Cordell Patterson is not seeing my lineup this week. I think he was a flash in the pan. Damian Williams is back. He was actually seeing more carries before he got hurt. What are you doing with Drake London going? Did well last week against Lattimore.
I'm sitting him this week. He's playing Jalen Ramsey, and I know Jalen Ramsey got toasted by Stephon Diggs, but the comparison between Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen throwing the ball and a rookie Drake London with Marcus Mariota throwing the ball are two different things. I'm not playing any Falcons. I don't want to play a single one. I agree with you 100%. I think the Rams are absolutely going to just dump points on the Falcons to make up for last week. They want to come out. They want to make a statement. They're at home. And I'm taking the Rams, and I'm going to take the over. I think it's going to be like a 34-10 kind of deal. I'm sorry, 34-17.
Fair enough. I'm nervous with Cam Akers. He's one of the few guys after I'm only given week one that kind of made me nervous. I'm holding back on Cam Akers. I agree. I'm starting Darrell Henderson. I think A-Rob bounces back. They came out and said they needed to utilize him more. Look for him to have a comeback this game. Drake London, I think I'm playing him as well. Cordell Patterson, I don't think was a complete flash in the pan. I think he's definitely start worthy. But I believe we saw his ceiling in week one. But I think he still earned a spot in a starting lineup. Just to answer it, I think the Rams come out and just absolutely take out all of their aggression on the Falcons. They're coming off a big break. They were in the Thursday game. They had a little over a week to prepare. Give me the over, and I can't believe I'm giving up this many points. Give me the Rams minus 10.5.
What is y'all's confidence in Allen Robinson bouncing back?
I'm pretty confident.
I'm confident as well. I'm playing him this week. It's just he can't see 2 targets again, right? They want to get him more involved. Man.
I'd put it at 75% he gets 13 points or more.
If I see
in a touchdown?
Yes.
If I see less than 5 targets from him, then I'm worried. I'm getting worried after this week. If I see less than 5 targets, I'm going to start to hit the panic button. Do you take Allen Robinson this week or Michael Thomas in your flex?
A-Rob.
Same. Beggs. Wayne pause. I'm going
to take A-Rob. Bucks defense is for real.
All right.
Our next game on the ledger is the Seahawks at 49ers. 49ers minus 9.5. Over under is 41.5. That's crazy because Geno is coming out. They wrote him off, but he ain't right back. Coming off a great game. Trey Lance coming off an awful game. Granted, when we did the week 1 recap, we gave pretty much all 49ers and all Bears that played poorly a pass based on the weather. That's a disrespectful line, though. You know what I mean? Give me the Seahawks plus 9. Give me the under. We'll see what Jeff Wilson does. I start him if I have him because I think he's going to be the guy back there. You're going to start your Debo. I think Darnell Mooney has this isn't saying much. Or Darnell Mooney, golly, where am I at? I think DK Metcalf has a good week. Geno kind of showed me a lot, man. I'm kind of on a Geno train right now. He looked really good against a pretty solid Broncos secondary.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Go ahead, Biggs.
Niners and over. I'm playing every Niner I got. Although I think with Jeff Wilson, a word of caution. I think he'll get the goal line carries. Trey Lance didn't dump the ball down in week 1. So in terms of PPR, he's not going to give you a lot of receiving opportunities. I don't think. Plus, I think Debo is going to take some of his carries. I think Mason will as well. So just he's the hot waiver guy, but temper your expectations. I think. For me, I like DK.
DK, I'm taking the Niners and I'm taking the over. I think we see the Trey Lance breakout game this week. I think that Seattle was a flash in the pan. It was very trappy, as Beggs and I was just calling out last week for sure. I don't think they're as good as they looked on Monday. I really don't. I think the 49ers just absolutely hand it to them. They have something to prove. I think Jeff Wilson is a solid flex play. I think he gets at least 15 carries this week. And you have to play DK Metcalf. You have to, I think, against this defense. And just hopes that, they're playing catch-up ball and he gets some garbage time numbers. But, yeah, lock up Lance, lock up Debo, and I would flex Jeff Wilson for sure.
One last tidbit. Absolutely fake Carson. Not Chris Carson. Rashad Penny.
I agree.
Why is it Rashad Penny?
Yeah. It's Rashad Penny.
You okay, man?
Sorry, I'm losing my mind. I'm absolutely sitting him. Do not play. Kenneth Walker is back. He'll siphon a little bit of carries. This Niners D is for real.
Is George Kittle going to be out there this week?
He didn't practice.
He didn't practice, but they've been saying he's made a lot of progress, and he could play week 2, but they're thinking about holding him back just because it's the Seahawks.
Divisional game.
Every day that man gets out of bed is progress, man. It's it doesn't matter to me. We'll see. Obviously, if he suits up, you're playing him, but have a pivot option ready.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm going against the grain, picking the Seahawks. Excuse me for wanting the Cinderella story of Geno Smith to continue on.
You're excused.
We got another good one. I'm so sorry, Begley. In our little friend group, we have a lot of Cowboys fans. I'm a Buccaneers fan, the only one. We have a Bengals fan. And so Begley really had to take a lot of flack from me over this past week. And this week he's got it's Cincinnati Bengals at Dallas. Cincinnati is a minus 7.5 point favorite. Over under at 41.5 points. Begley, is this your team in this game? Let me hear it.
I like Dallas plus 7.5. Honestly, to me, this is a line that should be getting a lot of public money, and it's just not really moving a lot, which tells me sharps are on Dallas. Cooper Rush is decent. I'm not going to say he's better than Dak, but he's decent. I think he's better than your league average backup quarterback. I'll say that. Why are you furrowing your brows?
What a homer thing to say, man. Cooper Rush is decent. Cooper Rush is not decent, man, by any means. He's
decent. We will talk after the game. The only Cowboy that I'm considering benching CD. I think I have to play him. I don't love any Cowboy. I don't love Zeke. He was 50-50 with Tony. I don't love Schultz. I don't know that I love Jamar Chase. He's going to get the Trayvon Diggs treatment this week. I'm kidding. You're playing Jamar Chase. You're playing T. Higgins. You're playing Hayden Hurst, and you're playing Joe Mixon. You're especially playing Joe Mixon.
I'd like to know, if you don't like any of these Cowboys options, how do they win the game?
I don't think they win. I think they cover.
Okay, I mean, then it's you're smashing the under then with
Absolutely.
that. Okay. Just make sure we got all the ducks in a row here.
The Cowboys did one thing well. They pressured Tom Brady.
I'm gonna fire up Zeke in this game. I'm taking the Bengals, by the way. Absolutely taking the Bengals. I'm gonna take the over as well because I think the Bengals absolutely hammer you to death. I like Zeke though from the Cowboys side. I feel like you have to play CeeDee Lamb just to see what he does with Cooper Rush. You paid this high draft capital. Let's see what you got out of him with Cooper Rush because Dak was horrible last week. I think Joe Burrow comes out and absolutely just fires away. And I think Jamar Chase is one of the luckiest locks of the week. I think that man tears it up. Joe Mixon, I think he gets his. T. Higgins he's still in the concussion protocol and he's progressing. So it might be like a game time decision on Sunday. If he doesn't play, Tyler Boyd moves up a spot. I'd even consider flexing Tyler Boyd, honestly, if he's the number 2 man there. I just don't see any way that the Cowboys muster enough offense to hang with the Bengals. And really, the Bengals had a chance to win last week after Joe Burrow personally had 5 turnovers. So I think he's got a vendetta. I think he comes out slinging and has a great day.
Give me the Bengals -7.5. Give me the over of 41.5. The fact that the Bengals were even in that game after 5 turnovers shows you the type of firepower that they're capable of. He's not going to have 5 turnovers again this entire season. That being said, I'm firing up every Bengal I have. That being said, I think CD does okay this week. I think he's start worthy. I think Zeke does good. Begley's not wrong. I mean, Cooper Rush played 1 full game last year, and he went 24 for 40 for 325 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He's not terrible. I mean, they let him throw the ball 40 times in the one game that he played in its entirety. So they're not going to completely pull the rug out from under the passing game. So I don't think CD's going to just all of a sudden fall off the face of the earth. And that game was at Minnesota, so they weren't playing a scrub squad. So I don't think they're going to completely change the game plan around and just not throw the ball at all. I think CD can still be serviceable with Cooper Rush under center. I'm actually in a league where if a quarterback goes down, we don't have quarterbacks. You draft a team. So I drafted Dak, but I drafted Dallas's team quarterback. So by default, I have Cooper Rush. I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him in the starting lineup this week, just based off what he's done, filling in for Dak and his frequent injuries in the past, and that they don't really change the game plan too much. I mean, they still pass the ball a lot, and he's seen success. So that being said, the Bengals are a much better team. Joe Burrow's going to come out and absolutely he's got something to prove this week. Only to himself. I think any true NFL fan knows that Joe Burrow's he's not what he showed last week with all the picks and everything. But I think he just comes out and just kind of reaffirms it to himself that he's a monster and goes nuts. So I look for the Bengals to cover and to the tune of a high scoring over game.
I think a trend we'll see against Dallas all year is wide receiver 2s eat. Anthony Brown was horrendous. I wish T. Higgins was playing in this game.
Let's just quickly go over the variables of Cooper Rush. Number 1, small sample size, 1 game. Number 2, Amari Cooper was there last year as the number 1 with CeeDee Lamb.
Well, he got snaps. He got snaps in several games. He played towards the end of 1 game. He went 3 for 3.
Ooh, big money.
He's completing
Big
passes,
money.
dude, consistently.
And variable number 3, he had a better and more healthy offensive line last year as well. I mean,
That's
it's one
debatable.
game.
That's debatable. That's
It's
100% debatable.
but that's also true at the same time.
Honestly, I think what's going against Cooper Rush, I think he's better than your league average backup. But Dallas is incentivized to tank. I think they will.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Personally.
And that being said, Mad Mob, I feel like I should kind of like explain myself a little bit. I'm keeping Cooper Rush because there's no IR in this league for team quarterbacks, obviously, because you can't put a whole slew of quarterbacks in the IR. So I can't just slot that into the IR to pick somebody up. And we keep a very short bench in this league. It's what is it, Begley? A 4-man bench. So
Yes.
So the people on my bench are solid, and I don't want them on the waiver wire to pick up Carson Wentz. So that's kind of where I'm at with it as well. That being said, I'm not panicking having Cooper Rush in there. If I could slide him to the IR, or I had 6-7 bench players and one was just a piece of crap, then yeah, I'd stream Carson Wentz or Jared Goff, just based on matchup. But I'm saying that I can still be successful. Goni, I'm gonna drive to Mount Sterling and I'm gonna wipe that little grin off your face, boy.
Breaking news. I forgot to mention this on the Thursday show, but it's funny that you mentioned Carson Wentz. One Begley D-Swan in our startup dynasty that we had on the waivers dropped Aaron Rodgers after one game and picked up Carson Wentz.
You did what, Beggs?
I did, and I don't feel bad about it. If you think Alan Lazard is the savior, fine, I get it. I don't know that he's going to save that receiving room.
Hey, man, we had a guy in our league last year when it was just a keeper league who did the same thing.
I remember that.
He dropped Aaron Rodgers after the first week because of a terrible game. And who was the MVP last year? Do you remember?
A little different. It's a little different. If you want to talk about variables, what's the variable, Goni?
It's Devontae Adams, but
sure is.
You want to bet against Aaron Rodgers? You really want to bet against Aaron Rodgers?
You want to go pick up Aaron Rodgers after what you saw week 1. That was bad. Nobody got open. Christian Watson dropped 1 touchdown pass. I watched a lot of that game. Nobody got open.
There's a guy in our league that's about to drop half of his fab on Aaron Rodgers.
That's fine. He can have him. I'll take Carson Wentz and his 50 throws a game.
All right. Breaking news is over.
Yeah, wow. What did he get beat by 28-3 week 1 last year? Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, next game. We've got the Texans at the Broncos. At the Broncos. At Denver. Denver -10, over under set at 45. Goni, are the Broncos coming back angry? Is Broncos country going to ride?
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to beat the snot out of Houston in this game. I'm taking the Broncos with whatever spread you can possibly find. It can be bet up even, and I'm taking the Broncos. They have a lot to prove. Do you pay Russell Wilson all that money to let your kicker kick a 63-yard field goal to potentially win a game for you?
How frustrating was it to watch the Broncos let 25 seconds just bleed off the clock for no reason whatsoever?
I was yelling at my TV over that. I didn't understand it all. It's 4th and 5 and you have a 63-yard field goal and you're paying Russell Wilson like over $200 million over the life of his contract, and you want to trot the kicker out there.
I was dying
Old
laughing.
Strat.
They did. I saw a clip of the Manning cast where, Eli and Peyton kind of do their little discussions during the game. They had Shannon Sharp on there this time. They did somebody posted a timeout counter that Peyton was doing. Peyton did the timeout symbol with his hands or whatever it is over 20 times in the course of like the 20 seconds that elapsed. I mean, he was just sitting there like panicking too, like just going nuts, trying to call a time, like trying to dive through his TV to call a timeout for him. That was very Mike McCarthy-esque.
That's the stuff that happens that gives the people who think the NFL's rigged that's just throwing gas on their fire. Who in
That's
their
a Dallas Cowboy move. That's what it is. It's a Dallas Cowboy move right there.
What coach in their right mind would make that play? I mean, we're at home. We're obviously know what the right and wrong move here is. These guys are paid $1 million. Come on, rigged.
Rigged, he says. I don't know, man. Either way, give me.
Go ahead.
Give me Russell Wilson. Give me. You're firing up Russell Wilson. You're firing up Melvin Gordon and Javonte. Javonte had 12 targets. I expect that to come down. There's no way he has that, but he's going against a porous Texans defense here. You're firing up Judy, Sutton, Agüebanam, Alberto for those of you guys that hear it on the broadcast when you watch the games. And for Houston, I mean, you're going with Brandon Cooks. I don't know about Dameon Pierce this week.
Listen,
I don't know, man.
Listen. So I looked into it a little bit. Dameon Pierce owners, it's okay. So Lovie Smith had a press conference where he came out and he said that he cannot hold Dameon Pierce back like that again. He said the only reason that he was held back wasn't his ability as the running back. It's his lack of ability pass blocking. And he kind of came out, and what I took from that is, Lovey understands that he's got to have his best players on the field. He's got to have his best running back on the field to run the ball. To have Rex Burkhead in there most of the time just because he's a better pass blocker is not a smart move. I think Lovie Smith acknowledged that post-game. So I think we saw the worst of Dameon Pierce week 1.
I'm just worried about a ultra negative game script for Houston.
Fair.
So that's all. That's the only reason. I still believe in his abilities as well. But yeah, I don't think I play Davis Mills this week either. I think Brandon Cooks is the only guy that I fire up on Houston.
I like Rex Burkhead on Houston a lot this week, actually. You'll see him in my flex and all the leagues that we're in together. It's a negative game script. He was in there on almost every pass play for Houston last week. I love Rex Burkhead. I think Broncos get pressure.
I look forward to seeing you get 8 more losses this week, sir.
It's okay. I got a lot of number 1 picks I can take with now.
Give me the Broncos coming out, showing everybody what they paid for. I think Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton get involved a lot earlier this week. They waited way too long to get their 2 star wide receivers involved last week. I think the Broncos put up a lot of points. You got to start Javonte and Melvin. I think they're going to be ahead, so I think it's going to be flipped. So whereas we saw like the majority of Javonte Melvin work in the first and the majority of Cortland Jerry Jeudy work in the second, I think we're going to flip that. I think we're going to see Cortland and Jerry Jeudy a little earlier in this game and more Javonte Melvin later. It's going to be a blowout, in my opinion. Give me Broncos -10 and give me the over. I think they're going to just take out all their anger from last week out on the Texans. If my flex is not strong, I'm considering Dameon Pierce. I think Lovie Smith kind of understands that Dameon Pierce needs to be his guy and that he gives him more opportunities. That being said, I don't love it. I wouldn't plan to start Dameon Pierce unless my flex was weak or it was a very deep league. But that's kind of where I'm at on that one. Anything else to add on that one, boys?
Nope.
All right. Our next game, Cardinals at Raiders. Raiders -5.5. The over-under is 51.5.
Give me Devonta and give me Hollywood Brown in this game. I think these 2 guys are locks for 20-point games, personally. Both, just for the record, the Cardinals and the Raiders both posted the worst coverage rating on Pro Football Focus last week. This is an absolute matchup nightmare.
The Cardinals didn't look good by any means. I mean, Kyler Murray led the team in rushing with 5 carries for 29 yards. I know James Conner scored a touchdown, but it's not very encouraging. I think that it will be a lucrative day. I'm taking the Raiders, by the way, minus the 5.5. I just don't think the Cardinals are very good. I don't like their defense by any means. I think it'll be lucrative for Kyler Murray and Hollywood this week, just because I think they're going to be playing catch up. I like Josh Jacobs this week against the Cardinals defense. I would certainly play him. And I mean, your Derek Carr, your Darren Wallerus, and Hunter Renfro. I think we see some more out of Hunter Renfro this week as well.
Yep. Give me the points on this one. Give me the Cardinals plus 5.5. Give me the over. I think we see Zach Ertz and pay dirt again. I don't know that we see much more out of James Conner. I wasn't too high on him in the offseason, and after week 1, I'm still kind of stuck in limbo on him. Hollywood. It's a great matchup for the receivers. I'm with you all on that. I think I'm firing up every receiver that I have in this game. Just the secondaries aren't going to be very good here. Yeah, I'm really not much to cover on this one. Just obviously you have Devontae. I'm with you. Hunter is a nice flex play this week. Hollywood is a nice play. I mean, do you consider Rondale Moore as well?
Yeah, you're playing Rondale Moore, absolutely. I think Greg Dortch becomes waiver wire fodder again if Rondale plays. But Hunter, you're worried about Hunter, right? I mean, you get a healthy Waller, you get Adams. Last year, he got all of his targets when he was the only option. If you have Hunter Renfro, he's your wide receiver too. To me, he is now a flex play at best.
I would flex him though this week. I think he's flex worthy this week, as far as that goes.
There, man. In the game where they needed to score, the targets weren't there.
Hunter Renfro or Devin Duvernay? Ooh.
Goni coming in hot these past 2 episodes with her this or that.
Yeah, man. These are big time questions, man. We got waiver wire stuff going on.
Remind me again, who's Baltimore playing?
Baltimore is playing the Dolphins.
Yeah, give me Renfro, but I don't love it. Miami's secondaries for real.
Renfro or Robbie Anderson?
Robbie Anderson.
And last but not least, Renfro or Garrett Wilson?
Renfro. Come on now.
Man, he's low.
Garrett Wilson.
He's low on Renfro this week. I just wanted to see where the bar was. That's all.
Where does the targets come from? Where do they come from?
It happens, man. It's one game. Let's not overreact on target shares. Mike Williams got 2. Allen Robinson got 2. They play a much larger role in the offense than Hunter Renfro does for his.
We've seen Williams get low targets. We've seen it a lot. He's Mr. Volatile.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, Hunter Renfro, start him this week. Our next game, this is our Sunday night football game. Another big spread. There were a lot of big spreads this week, and I'm really interested to hear what you all have to say about this game. It's the Bears at Packers. Historically, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, and he let them know about it last year. It's Packers minus 10, over under at 42.
Give me the Bears. I hate what I've turned into, by the way, Goni.
I love it. Let it consume you. Justin Fields.
My favorite stat is Justin Fields in that weather led the NFL in air yards last week. He throws the ball downfield. Don't give up on your Moonies. I think he comes back this week, even against Jair. I can see Mooney having one of those 3 catch for 80-yard kind of games. Give me the Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bears as well with the points. I don't necessarily think that they win outright. I think that in Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers will prevail. The Packers defense is pretty good. With that being said, fire up your Moonies. I would fire up your Cole Kmets as well if you have them. Someone I I don't think we really mentioned that should have gotten a little more priority on the waiver show, I think, for these redraft guys is Khalil Herbert, honestly. Khalil Herbert we mentioned his efficiency. He scored the touchdown last week. We've talked about how the Bears offense kind of doesn't really love David Montgomery. David Montgomery got a ton of carries last week. He wasn't very efficient with it. Khalil Herbert now, this is going back into last year, man. He's shown that when he gets opportunities, he makes the most of them. So I think if he is still on your waiver wire, he is absolutely worth a pickup, even just to hang on to. If David Montgomery goes down, I think Khalil Herbert's got high end running back 2 upside to him. On the other side, I mean, you're going to fire up your Dillons and your Aaron Joneses in the flex. And who are we picking this week for the wide receiver for the Packers? It's not going to be 2 of them. Are we going Alan Lazard in his debut for the season?
Yeah, if he's out there, 100%.
You know, I'm personally playing Robert Tonyan as well. I think Tonyan is a good play this week. I'm actually playing him over Cole Kmet. So I like that, the familiarity with Aaron Rodgers in the offense and just Rodgers finding out last week what he's got as far as receiving options. So those are my picks.
I'm gonna go Green Bay -10. I'm gonna go against the grain here. Aaron Rodgers just dominates the Bears, man. He always finds a way with them. The Bears can never do anything about it. I think when you have a point spread like -10, you got to take the over. It really, to me, it depends if Alan Lazard plays. I know, I get it. It's just Alan Lazard, but when you have a receiving core as weak as Green Bay has, that's their number 1 receiver, regardless of how good he or bad he is compared to other WR1s. That is the number 1 for Green Bay. That is the only guy that, obviously besides Randall Cobb, but he's old as dirt, that has familiarity with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got whooped week 1 last year, came back and spanked the team he played week 2. I think he does that again this year. Aaron Rodgers just needs that game. For some reason, week 1, he goes out and he needs somebody to bend him over their knee and spank him one good time before he starts playing. I don't trust the Bears to stop the Packers in Lambeau.
Yeah. I get it. Aaron Rodgers has got to slow down sometime, though, man. He's got to, and his weapons look terrible.
That's what they said about Tom Brady for the past 10 years.
Indeed.
All right. The last game of the week, another monster spread. Another monster spread. I don't like these at all. Monday Night Football game is the Titans at the Bills. We get to see the Bills back at it. A huge break between the Bills, going from a Thursday game to a Monday game. I guess I'll take this one first. Give me Buffalo -10. I mean, they're absolutely just insane. Over under is at 48. Give me the over. I'm going to start with the Titans, and then I think Derrick Henry comes back and has a good game here against a stout Buffalo defense. I think he does better than what he did before. I don't know. If I'm King Henry and I have to look all week at T. Crowder just taking me off my feet, he's mad. He's got to be looking to just absolutely hurt somebody this next game. I think he's just putting in work this week to just shut everybody up, because Derrick Henry, on all these videos of people getting leveled, he's normally on the fun end of it. So I'm interested to see how he bounces back after being on the decleated end of things. So I'm looking forward to him coming back. I think he has a good game. I think he's the only Titan that has a good game. I don't start. I'm not a fan of starting Traylon Burks. I don't think there's any other Titan I start other than Derrick Henry. Flip to the Bills. I'm starting Gabe Davis. I'm starting obviously Stephon Diggs. Devin Singletary. They dominated. They dropped 31, dominated the Rams. He was hyper efficient. He just doesn't get the opportunities. I'm fading Devin Singletary this week.
This is actually in week 2. We have 2 Monday night games this week, being the Titans and Bills and the Vikings Eagles.
Oh yeah, you're right. I just saw it. You're right.
With that though, I mean, you pretty much summed everything up pretty perfectly. I'm taking the Bills in this one also, -10. They're at home, and their defense looks just as good as their offense did. They had 7 sacks last week. Von Miller looked right at home. He still got it, and the offense is phenomenal. From the Titans side, you have to play Derrick Henry whether you like it or not. You have to. You're just hoping that he scores a touchdown this week. I don't think he breaks 100 yards. He had 82 last week, so it's not bad. But the fact that he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield is detrimental to him. You need a touchdown out of Derrick Henry to be happy, along with the monster yardage he usually gives you. And on the other side, I'm with Wayne. I mean, you don't need to be told to play Stephon Diggs. You don't need to be told. I don't think you need to be told to play Gabe Davis yet. Maybe you want to see it again. If so, that's fine. I think he has another good game here. And I would play Devin Singletary this week. I would flex him or play him in an RB2 spot if you have to. Saquon Barkley just tore them up for 160 plus yards last week. I know that he doesn't get the volume that a Saquon does. Maybe, they hand him the ball a few more times, and he's efficient, man. So he just, like Wayne said, he needs to get the carries. The Titans defense isn't what I thought they were coming into the season, at least against the Giants. Maybe they tighten it up a little, but I like Singletary for a flex spot in this game.
Still missing their middle linebacker.
I hate Singletary. I mean, I know the Bills need to get him the ball, but they won't. And they've kind of shown that since he's been in Buffalo. I'm not a big fan of any Bills back personally. I think it's just you're rolling the dice. You love all the Bills receivers. We don't need to talk about them. I think Dawson Knox will bounce back. I actually like Henry. I think he gets back on track this week. I think the Titans got a little embarrassed. Now, I don't know if Taylor Lewan's back or not. He did walk off that field hurt. I'm taking the Bills, but I kind of want to watch this point spread. If it climbs up to 12, 11 or 12, I think I'd take the Titans to cover. Also, I want to watch Kyle Phillips. Titans desperately need somebody on the outside to take some pressure off Derrick Henry, whether that's Burks or Phillips or Woods. Somebody's got to step up.
I like Kyle Phillips as well. Just he led the team in receptions and yardage last week. So if there was a Titans receiver, I think he would be the guy this week.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Last game of the week. This is actually the last game of the week. The for really real last game of the week. We've got the Vikings at Eagles. Eagles -2.5. Over under at 50.5.
Yeah, give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles in this one. Fly, Eagles, fly. Major thing going into that is Kirk Cousins does not perform well in primetime. It's just facts. He doesn't do it, man. I don't know what it is. It's the stigma or something like that. But for that fact, I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'm gonna take. It's 50.5, and we saw these two teams just with explosive offense last week. So for that fact, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under for sure. I expect Jalen Hurts to have another great week. I feel like he gets in the touchdown column as well as far as passing goes. I mean, you're firing up your A.J. Browns. Jetta, obviously, on the other side. I think Dalvin Cook has a pretty good game. I like Dalvin Cook this week. Miles Sanders, you're going to play Miles Sanders as well. He performed pretty well on only 13 carries. He had 96 yards and a tutty last week. So, I mean, what does Devonta Smith do is the major question I think we're all asking here.
I'm terrified of Devonta Smith.
He's seeing what happens with Jalen Hurts, man. He's not a great passer. I don't think he can support two. I think Justin Jefferson is the highest scoring player in fantasy again this week.
Again?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you saw what Detroit did to Philly in the air. I mean, Jetta's better than anybody on Detroit's roster, and Kirk Cousins targets him a lot. I like Adam Thielen this week too, by the way.
In this game, there's not really anybody out of the ordinary. I'm firing up all the usual suspects. Jalen and AJ Brown. Does Dallas Goedert do anything this week?
Yeah, he will. He seems to be the second target as of right now. At least he was the first game.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
I gotta see Devonta Smith do it. I gotta see him do it after just absolutely fading into nothingness week one. I gotta see it from him. I gotta see something from him before he slides into my starting lineup. I'm with Begley. I think Justin Jefferson goes nuts. Even with Kirk Cousins not historically being good in primetime games, Justin Jefferson is a monster. And the Vikings, you got to respect the run. So they just spread defenses out so much. Adam Thielen had a decent game. Give me the Vikings +2 and give me the over. I look for Jalen Hurts to still have another big game, mainly with his legs. AJ Brown will be pretty good. But outside of that, I don't think Miles Sanders has as good of a game as he had week one. I feel like you still got to start him. I think with his week one performance, he wormed his way into your starting lineup, unfortunately. But that's where I'm at with him now, especially with this matchup. But that's where I'm at with this one.
Begley, Hunter Renfrow, or Devonta Smith.
Wow, that's miserable. God, that's terrible, Goni.
I have to ask the tough questions, man. Some people are hurting.
It's not a tough question.
That's pretty terrible. I think I'm going to take Hunter Renfrow.
Wayne?
Yeah, that's snap calling Hunter Renfrow.
Okay.
It's based on the matchup.
It's based on the usage, the volume.
I might take Devonta season long. I'm just saying. I have to think about it.
Lord have mercy. You're out of your mind.
He didn't, in a game that he was scripted to get a lot of targets in, he didn't at all.
All right.
Wasn't targeted till the fourth quarter.
It is week one, though.
Wasn't targeted till the fourth quarter with the quarterback he's got rapport with.
Week one.
In a good game script.
I have to see it again.
In a divisional game.
I'm just saying.
You're a little concerned about it.
Not concerned.
Man.
All right, Mad Mob.
It's week one and it's week one and Begley's already on his we haven't seen it done before.
Stop.
Kick.
Listen, from a guy that doesn't like volume, I understand why you like Hunter Renfrow. I like volume. I want players to get targets, Goni.
That's weird that you're taking Devonta Smith.
I didn't take Devonta Smith. I took Hunter Renfrow.
All right. You took Devonta Smith on the year. All right. That wraps up the week 2 matchups. That's it. All right. So let's go over the CTFL scores, the Crappy Team Fantasy League scores. We drafted the players off the crappiest teams in the NFL based on Super Bowl odds this year. Let's just go over the scores real quick. I've compiled them in week 1. Goni came in dead last by a wide margin, finishing with 69.64 points. His lineup is Justin Fields, DeAndre Swift, Breece Hall, DJ Moore, Kenny Galladay, Cole Kmet, Damian Pearson, Kadarius Toney. And in second place, it ain't your boy Wayne, that's for sure. Second place is Begley with 89.8, outscoring Goni by 20. Begley's lineup is Jared Goff, CMC, David Montgomery, Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore, TJ Hawkinson, Jameson Williams, and Christian Kirk. And in first, that leaves, obviously, your host, Wayne, with a commanding lead, dropping 113.5 with my lineup of Davis Mills, Saquon, Travis Etienne, Darnell Mooney, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CJ Uzomah, Michael Carter, and James Robinson. So that is the update on the CTFL. and we will keep you updated as we go along. Now, to move on to our DFS lineups, I will update you on how we finished in the first week. Goni introduced his team before he set his lineup as the winning team. He, in fact, was the opposite of the winning team and came in dead last with 65.32 points. His lineup: Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Damian Pierce, Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Hunter Renfrow, TJ Hawkinson, Alvin Kamara, and the Commanders' defense, 65.32. Terrible. So he is now -1. He's been relegated under the in the 0 mark. Goni, do you have anything to say for yourself, or should we move on?
It was a rough week, man. We could just move on.
All right. And in second place, you know it wasn't your boy Wayne.
I hate this guy.
In second place was Begley with 92.36, respectable, with the lineup of Trey Lance, Travis Etienne Jr., Damian Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr., Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Kyle Pitts, Christian McCaffrey, and Miami Dolphins. And in first, of course, me, dropping an astounding 122.76 with the lineup of Jameis Winston, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Michael Thomas, Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Christian McCaffrey, and the Washington Commanders. Magget. Easy money. Easiest of all the money.
Man, have you ever seen someone take such a large victory lap in week 1, Beggs?
I haven't. I hate that he just gets to gloat and he doesn't let us talk. It's the worst.
It was commanding. I mean, these weren't. I didn't edge out these victories. I mean, I absolutely annihilated both of you.
I mean, one of them's not a victory at all. It's just a running tally of the crappy team points on the season.
Commanding lead.
I mean,
Goni,
it's week 1.
Don't you feel like his entire team is going to regress as the year goes on?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing with crappy teams.
I wish the amount of times
here.
I wish the amount of times Begley used the word regress would start to regress.
It won't.
Spoiler alert.
Goni, are we getting better from you this week, man?
I mean, I sure hope so. I'm not going to promise anything. I felt pretty good about the lineup last week, but my entire team took a massive dump except for Jalen Hurts.
God, do it, Mad Mob. He's a beaten man. He's a beaten down man. His confidence has been lost.
It's a fresh week.
I hope so. Eeyore over here just got beat down so bad in week 1 that I hope I do better.
Wayne gets a +1 and he's ready to hold the trophy, man. Look at this guy. He's never won anything in his life. Look at him.
Is that true, Wayne? Is that your first trophy ever?
I believe I hoisted one last year.
It's not even a trophy. It's just a +1 tally. It's literally just a mark on the ledger.
There's just something needs to be said of just winning the inaugural week. Week 1 is more important than week 7. You just come out of the gate strong. I have pole position now. It's just there's something about winning week 1.
The scoreboard doesn't agree with you.
Yeah,
Week 7 is worth just as much as week 1, man.
You don't have to do a regression analysis to tell you that, Goni.
That's true. Excel spreadsheets and such.
I hate both of you. Well, let's go over the DFS lineups. I guess we'll start with the guy who's in dead last, and we'll see this one. Let's see if he starts off his squad with and your winning team.
Are we doing by position again?
Yeah, let's do by position.
And the winning team this week. At quarterback, I'm going Trey Lance for 7,500. I firmly believe that this is the breakout week from Trey Lance that everyone has been waiting for. I don't think Seattle plays the way they did. All the emotion is gone. It's no revenge game anymore. Nah, it's just a divisional matchup with a much superior team, and I think the 49ers destroy them. Trey Lance it is.
I totally agree. I got Matt Stafford against the Rams. Super Bowl champs, bounce back in a big way. Trey Lance was my second pick, though.
Against the Falcons?
Matt Stafford against the Falcons, yeah. That'd
against
be weird
the
if he
Falcons.
was
Who did I say? Against the Rams. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's fine. I am going Carson Wentz against the Detroit Lions. He's got a good lineup, and I got him pretty for good value.
That's a good choice.
For the running backs, I took Christian McCaffrey this week for 9,000, and I took Josh Jacobs for 6,600. I think we see more of the McCaffrey of old from years past against the Giants. I mean, I don't love their defense very much, and I think this is just, another game kind of where he gets back into form. And Josh Jacobs, I just love the matchup. Arizona wasn't very good last week on the ground, through the air, anything in between. So I like Josh Jacobs to come out firing.
I think Josh Jacobs is a bold move. It's either going to really hurt you or really, really help you.
It's a little bit of a value for 6,600.
I agree. I went with Darrell Henderson, the true value at 6,200. That's his backfield. Love the matchup against Atlanta. I think he was third overall in snap share of all running backs last week. And I got Saquon Barkley at 8,800 against Carolina. You saw what Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt did to the Panthers.
Fair. I'm sticking with my boy back, assuming he's fully healthy and all that, DeAndre Swift. He's going against Washington without Chase Young. I'm just not worried about that defense. I think they're going to use them like crazy again. And then I think I got great value on this one. Javonte Williams for 7,300 against the Texans. I think he's going to be heavily utilized again in a game that I see the Broncos going up early and then just keeping the ball on the ground with Javonte Williams.
Okay. What do you think Begley took Allen Robinson or Cooper Kupp coming up, and he's just going to take all the Rams this week? It seems to be the trend so far. So I'm going to say he probably took Allen Robinson and considered that a value. But anyways, my wide receivers, bro. I'm trying to get to the wide receivers here, man. Do you mind? For wide receivers, I took Jamar Chase at 8,700. I think the man is going to absolutely destroy. He's going to be matched up against Trayvon Diggs, who's awful. I don't know if you guys know, but he's terrible. He gives up all the yardage in America.
Awful.
I actually took Allen Robinson in this one because I thought it was value, 5,700. I look for him to acquire more than 2 targets this week, that's for sure. I think they get him more involved. It's a weak matchup against the Falcons. And I also had to save money on this one. So I took Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell against Jacksonville. Michael Pittman didn't practice. And I don't know if he's going to play. Alec Pierce is dealing with a concussion. And somebody's got to catch the football there. It sure isn't going to be Kyle Granson being the only one and Mo Alley Cox. So I'm looking for a Paris Campbell game. Hopefully a tutty out of him.
Wayne, why is he taking so many unnecessary risks?
I don't know. This man he loves Paris Campbell. He loves him.
His total team budget's probably about $20,000 by the time we're done with this thing.
Man,
yeah.
we heard this noise out of Gerald Everett when I brought him up, and we saw what happened with that.
I hear you. Gerald Everett was a great call. Paris Campbell so far has not been a great call.
Until he goes off for 100 and a tutty. Let's go.
Until he goes off. My first receiver, I have Deebo Samuel for 8,000. I think he's going to at least get you a touchdown in 5 to 8 carries this game. Trey Lance seemed to really rely on him in Chicago, so love Deebo. I have Julio Jones, if he plays, at 5,700 as my value pick. Mike Evans against Lattimore is going to be a problem. So I love the wide receiver, too, in Tampa. And at 6,200, DJ Moore, bounce back game against the Giants.
Fair enough. Yeah, I didn't really go for any home run players this week. I stayed pretty even as far as like the value of all of my players. I'm not trying to bank on one guy to drop 30 for me. So my receivers are Michael Pittman. I'm sticking with him. Obviously, if he's healthy, he's going against the Jags. Easy money. I'm going with Deontay Johnson against the Patriots. I think he's due. I think they're gonna game plan more for him to get the ball.
Just DJs, man. He's just filling his lineup with DJs and calling it good.
And excuse me, the champions talk.
He just can't get enough of it, man.
And for 6,900, I thought it was pretty good. I thought 6,900 was good value to get Amon-Ra against Washington.
Okay.
That's
go
it.
ahead.
I mean, pretty easy value. Michael Pittman was 7,800. Deontay Johnson was 71, and Amon-Ra was 69. And they're going up against Jacksonville, New England, and Washington. So I mean, the matchups are there for success.
All right, very nice, very nice.
Good explanations.
Yeah, we got every last bit of that. Moving on to the tight end position, I took Mark Andrews this week as the most expensive tight end, 7,400. I love him in the matchup with Miami. I think the wide receivers are going to have their hands full being matched up, against Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. I look for Mark Andrews to go off. Honestly, he's going to be the focal point in the passing game. For the flex, I'm right there with you, Beggs. I took some Rams players. Daryl Henderson, 6,200. I had some leftover funds there, and I was scrolling through looking for guys that I think can make an impact, and I think he's the guy this week for sure. And then for the defense, I had to save some money getting some of these big money guys, so I took the Raiders against the Cardinals this week for 3,800. The Cardinals didn't look good last week. I don't love the offense. I don't think Hollywood Brown is a wide receiver too. And yeah, that's what it is.
Would you like to put a doink bet that Hollywood Brown scores more than 15 this week?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
So you're saying he'll get 16, but you're not pleased with that?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I don't like the Cardinals' offense in general. James Conner wasn't good last week. He just fell into the end zone and salvaged a fantasy day for everyone that played him, including myself.
I'm gonna set the doink. I'm gonna put it in the stew and let it marinate. If you want it, just let me know.
All right.
Tyler Higbee for me for the Rams, 5,300 at tight end. I'm loaded up on the Rams. Man.
This man needs the Rams to score 40-something points just to get up there. I feel better and better about this.
Just a whole lot of value there. I don't think Stafford and Allen Robinson. I mean, Allen Robinson was open last week. Stafford just didn't quite look his way. I think Higbee gets me 8 to 10 points. Just really looking for a touchdown play here. In my flex, Javonte Williams, 7,300. I agree, Wayne. Game script is all in his favor. Even if he doesn't catch 10 passes, I think he gets 15 carries this game. And for my defense, I'm going Niners against San Francisco. Love the Niners this week.
Niners against San Francisco.
Yep.
Against Seahawks, Mad Mob.
How's that happen? Who's going to win, Niners or San Francisco? Who's going to play the best?
It's a scrimmage, man. All right, it's a scrimmage at practice. Practice squad versus the starters. That's how it's going to go down. I'm surprised he didn't take the Rams, but he probably didn't have enough money.
I'm going to turn my mic off.
Wayne, what you got?
All right, my tight end. I was surprised how cheap he was. It's probably because he's coming off a crappy week. I got Kyle Pitts for 5,900 against the Rams. One of their few weapons. I think they're going to get him more involved this week. My flex is a pure. I was running low on funds, so I'm just having to throw a dart here and hope that it hits. With Jacoby Myers going against Pittsburgh. Like I said, I'm not banking on that guy getting me much. It was just I was running out of money. My pockets was running thin.
He'll get probably 6 receptions, but he ain't gonna score a touchdown. He hates scoring.
That's
touchdowns.
fine, dude. If I get 10 points out of him, then I'm thrilled. And then I went with the Bengals defense against a Dakless, Michael Gallup-less Cowboys.
But they have Cooper.
Yep, and that's why I went with the Bengals defense. Not worried about that at all. Let us just so we can have it for the record. Goni, go through your lineup and list any questionable players that might need to swapped out due to injury.
I was actually looking at that before. There was someone I swapped off of to make sure all my guys were healthy as of right now. But Trey Lance at quarterback, CMC and Josh Jacobs at running back, Jamar Chase, Allen Robinson, Paris Campbell in the wide receiver spots, Mark Andrews at tight end, Daryl Henderson in the flex, and the Raiders defense.
I've got Matt Stafford, Daryl Henderson, Saquon Barkley, Deebo Samuel, Julio Jones, who I might need to replace because of injury, DJ Moore, Tyler Higbee, Javonte Williams, and the Niners D.
I have Carson Wentz, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, Michael Pittman, Deontay Johnson, Amon-Ra, Kyle Pitts, Jacoby Myers, and the Bengals defense. DeAndre Swift is listed as questionable, but should be good. And same with Michael Pittman. So everybody else is good to go for me. Should be another easy week for me, Mad Mob.
Nah.
Doubt it.
No. You're
Get
going
back
to
even.
You got the worst team. Actually, Goni's got the worst team again, but you have the second worst team. Paris Campbell. You kidding me?
Coney's nodding his head. That just shows how much he listens whenever you say something, Bagley. he
Sorry,
had
man,
the
I'm
1,000-yard stare while you were talking and just like nodding his head while you were trashing his squad.
Damn, I got caught red-handed.
All
Yeah,
right.
man. Whatever you say, cool.
Oh, man. Mad Mob. We will see you all for the weekly recap after I catch more of these dubs.
Man.
DFS Week 1 champions for MVP.